Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing the weekly horoscope forecast on my channel for the week of December the 3rd through the 9th, 2018. Welcome. If this is the first time that you're tuning into my horoscopes, I'm going to give you a little bit because I have, over the last week or so, I've gained a lot of subscribers on my channel that are new to this, so you may not be aware, but these are intuitive readings that are done. They're general in nature. They're not like a private reading where I just tune into someone's energy and soul. So a lot of these things that you may be hearing may not necessarily apply to all of you out there, under your certain zodiac sign. There may be some pieces. It's almost impossible to write one horoscope that would apply to every single person under the sign of Aries, for example. So just take what you can from this reading, and then what you can't, just hold on to it. And I do these on a weekly basis and also on a monthly basis. And the yearly, if you haven't checked out, I have the 2019 yearly horoscopes already published as well. Also, I'm getting a lot of questions from people about whether I do private readings. The link is listed here on the screen. If you would like to book a private reading, yes, I do. You can go to my website. That's www.raymondguzman.net/shop. And also be sure to follow me on social media, on Facebook and Instagram at Psychic Medium Ray. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into your horoscopes. So the first one we're going to go into Aries. This week for you, Aries, it's a very interesting week. This week has a lot of the beginning of the week starting off almost in an area where you feel like there's a certain level of sadness surrounding you. A lot of you may be feeling very confused about certain prospects that are going to be happening over the next couple of weeks as we wind down and end 2018. So this could have you thinking very much about 2019, the direction that you're going. But right now, it seems like a lot of you out there feel alone. Even if you have a partner with you, even if you're in a relationship, even if you have family members around you, a part of you is craving isolation. A part of you is wanting some time to think through because you've been so busy and so many things are happening that you just need some time to kind of regroup your thoughts and recollect those. You may also be feeling very inclined to spiritual stuff, to your spiritual side while you're doing this. A lot of you may be, starting to research more about Wiccan things or spiritual things, your spirit guides, your angels. It doesn't have to necessarily be Wiccan things. And a lot of you are kind of secretive right now. A lot of you are holding on to some certain secrets that you're not wanting to kind of, discuss with people around you. It could be that you're fearful of what is going to take place if you do reveal it, or you may know how that person reacts and you just don't want to upset them or cause them to react in a certain way which would lead to retaliation because you know that person very well and how they handle or how well they handle information. So and then a lot of you this week will be experiencing some heartache. There's something going on with a lot of Aries out there, and you could say it's the moon, but, or the cosmos, but a lot of you are experiencing some heartache and some loss when it comes to relationships. A lot of your relationships could be out there affected in some way, not necessarily leading to a separation, but there could be some disagreements, or you're needing space from your partner, vice versa. So it's kind of like your personal life and your love life. These two areas in particular are highlighted this week. A lot of you are having intense communication struggles with other people, not necessarily in a relationship. This could be in your work life or in, people that friendships that are not respecting you in many ways. You feel disrespected. You could be feeling like you're being judged by some people, harshly or unjustly, that they're drawing conclusions or making assumptions about you, like they know you personally, but they really don't. And so this has you kind of, in again, feeling very lonely, thinking about the situation, really considering your friendships. You have a big heart out there, Aries, but a lot of you out there are really, done. Like when somebody kind of crosses your path and they cross you in a bad way, or they burn a bridge with you, you're done with them. When you're done, you're done, and there's no going back. And that's kind of like the energy that is surrounding a lot of Aries out there this week. It's almost like you're not sure, what you're going to do, but the ultimate outcome of all of this is that you're weeding out everything that is unnecessary right now this week in your life. You're reassessing everything, and you're using and transmuting a lot of this dark emotional feelings that you're feeling, and making them, transforming them into energy that is useful for you. So things are changing in your life at a very rapid rate as we go into December, the first week in December for all Aries signs out there. There's a lot of change, a lot of communication, a lot of intense emotions, but ultimately you're very strong. What I see from Spirit is that you're very strong, in that regardless of what happens this week, you do have the upper hand. It's just a matter of not letting the energy that surrounds you to rule you, or to make you feel like you're losing traction, because you really are on schedule when it comes to your life path and what you're doing. So I hope that you did find this horoscope useful. This is for the sign of Aries for this week, and again, thank you for being here. All right. For Taurus, hello Taurians out there, welcome to my channel. Before I get started, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit the red subscribe button, as well as the notification bell icon, so that way you can be notified of any future videos that I do publish. So this week for you, Taurus, it's a very interesting week. Spirit is talking about a person in your life right now who seems to have a very much like a charisma. They're very enigmatic. They're very alluring. This tends to be like a male energy for a lot of you out there. So whether you're male or female, this is someone that is coming in this week that perhaps is already in your life, or somewhere that someone that from a distance, but they are very alluring, and there's some feelings that you may have for this person, but on a subconscious level you're holding back from really expressing this to this person, because you may fear rejection, or you may fear that this person is not into you like you are into them, energy wise, but you really dig them. You really do tend to like their energy. There's for those of you that are in a relationship right now, there is this feeling of like almost like you're pulling away from a partner. There could be some disagreements, and it's like the partner, it may be happy with you, but you're not happy with them. And this could be like a long-term situation that's been going on, an ongoing situation, not something necessarily new. And it's like, it's little things that, that you've seen over the last couple of years that have really kind of made you realize that this is not healthy. There's no traction. There's no room for improvement in this relationship. Things are very stagnated. And it feels like, when it comes to nurturing, if you have children, and especially if you're in a relationship right now that where you have children that are young, or even a baby, a newborn, or a couple months old, there's this feeling that, you're having to kind of, be the mom, the dad. You have to be everything for the family to keep the family together, and the other person may not be contributing. So there's a lot of fear, a lot of the anticipation with what is going to happen next. A lot of you could be trying to figure out a way to disband or to move away from the situation, but ultimately certain circumstances like finances may be holding you back, so you still stay kind of trapped. But it feels like your home is not your home. It feels almost like a place that you would have to be walking on eggshells, and that's not a good way to live. So again, there's a lot of things that are highlighted around money struggles. A lot of you are going through financial struggles and love life struggles this week. There's a lot of focus in that, a lot of mental energy that's being used to kind of devise a plan to kind of work through. So a lot of you may be noticing that you're having to cut back on this year on Christmas gifts, or visiting a family that maybe lives, family members that live in a different city, and you would have to travel. But usually, when you go, the family members want or expect you to do, bring the food or to bring them gifts, so there's a lot of that energy, almost like, you're assessing everything that has been going on, and you're having to make some drastic changes this year that some people may not fully welcome. But hey, it doesn't matter, because this is your life, this is your life path, and this is your family that you're trying to protect in many ways. Because people are not just going to give you money, just to give you money, and your family's not just going to, give you money. So that's kind of like the situation here. For those of you that have been working very hard, this, Spirit is reminding you right now, this week in particular, that a lot of you could be hearing about bonuses, promotions. A lot of you could be, already having a job lined up for 2019, or a creative project, or even self-employment. So there's a lot of thoughts about, fixing your income and having it more strong and more settled, and having, just something that you don't have to worry about, creating that stability for yourself. A lot of you also are finding that that maybe single Taurus signs out there, that this week, you start developing more of a connection with someone, whether this is a relationship. But it comes across, that a lot of you out there that are single Taurians will, start the initiation, whether this is flirting with someone, or, just exchanging some good pleasantries. But there is definitely a lot of your heartstrings that are being pulled in a direction, and it's like you're ready for this. So this is a very fresh and kind of, new relationship for a lot of you out there. And basically, Spirit is just saying, just to go into it without fear, to be fearless, and to just take it, take anything right now and be open to it, because nothing is happening by coincidence in this lifetime. Anything and anyone that is set in our path is there for a reason. And whether it's a lesson or not, the longer that you resist this lesson or this person, the harder it's going to be on you down the road, because again, you can't escape destiny. If this is a person that has been put in your path for a reason, and you reject that, there's going to always be another person, but that there will still be a lesson tied to that. So every situation right now, Spirit is saying that there is a lesson to it. So this is the horoscope for this week for the sign of Taurus. Thank you so much. Hello, Geminis out there, and this week for you, Geminis, it's a very interesting week. This week for you, a lot of you are moving forward. There's no time like the present to move forward with creative projects that you may have lined up. Things that you've been putting off or procrastinating for quite some time, like maybe balancing your checkbook, fixing things or paying some bills that you have, in your household. There's a lot of focus this week around your house, your family, where your family is concerned. A lot of you could be that are in a relationship with a partner or married, could be going through some arguments with your partner, some disagreements ultimately. A lot of this could be, that your partner doesn't see eye to eye with you, and, you are trying to be reasonable. You're trying to bring them out of the darkness into the light, because maybe your partner is obsessive with their work ethic, or they're always on the go, and you feel like you're being excluded in many ways from their life. There may not be communication. They may not communicate with you, or spend long hours, at work, or with their friends after work, or hitting the gym, and you're just kind of like stuck there, and when you try to make an attempt, they push you away in many ways. And this has been something I think, that Spirit is talking about, that feels almost like it's been going on for quite some time. So this week expect some arguments, expect some, some discussions that are pretty powerful, some words that are exchanged that may be kind of hurtful between you and another person. This doesn't have to necessarily be in a relationship. This can also be, like I said, in your family life, which is, considered a relationship, because we all have a relationship with our family. It may not be a romantic relationship like with a partner, but there still is a family bond or relationship. So you know, if it's not with your partner, it's with someone else in your family. But there are some powerful discussions going on. But the week is not as bad as you think it is, because there is going to be, you know, a lot of people tend to confuse us Geminis and think that we are bad guys, or that we have, you know, the good side and we have the dark side, you know. But everybody has a duality in reality. Ours may be a little enhanced, but we're definitely, you know, people that do not like conflict. And I'm speaking from experience. I'm a Gemini myself. That's my sun sign. Um, but there is a lot of light coming in by midweek, like Wednesday. Around Wednesday, there is a lot of more of a turning point in, you know, whatever has been going on in the beginning of the week. And you do tend to be going, a lot of you will be tend to you know, going into your spiritual side, whether this is pulling out some tarot cards, some oracle cards, and doing readings for yourself, or busting out the Palo Santo and the sage and lighting some candles and doing some candle magic. Whatever it is, you know, a lot of you are going to play almost like into the world of the spiritual and tapping into that spiritual veil that is very thin right now in the world. And so a lot of you may be getting your third eye activating, feeling like impulses, feeling, you know, anxiety. A lot of you could be, you know, having some dreams that are very lucid that you remember, or getting messages from spirit guides. Pay attention to the signs like angel numbers, butterflies, pennies that you find in your path. Things that, you know, that are signs or symbols that are being left in your path by your spirit guides to really let you know that, hey, we're here, we are aware of the situation, we got your back, just relax. Because it's kind of hard to tell a Gemini to relax. It's not that easy for us to relax. We always are on the go. We're always, if we're worried about something, it's probably worse than any of the other signs, because we have such fast-paced mental energy as well as physical energy that, you know, we can go 100 miles per hour, but we feel it at the core of ourselves, like 3 times worse than maybe some people out there. But there is a lot of focus, like I said, around a relationship and money. For those of you that are single and are not in a relationship at all, there is something going on with you still not being able to let go of an ex, or a person that, you know, that hurt you. You still have some feelings there, and there's still, you know, this feeling like you wish that you could, you know, change things. You wish you could reach out to them and maybe, you know, fix things. But is it your ego or is it pride that is holding you back? You know, that is not clear, but it feels almost like, you know, you're not wanting to go through it again. And spirit fully supports your decision, whether it is, you know, you are being the bigger person and you decide to have that communication, or you decide to just not do it at all. Spirit is supporting your decision and saying, you know what, follow your feeling, your gut instinct, follow your intuition. It's never going to lead you astray. And for those of you that may be in a relationship, this could be talking about, you know, you, spirit could be talking about you just following your gut when it comes to fixing things, or to, you know, distance yourself from the person. But yeah, there's a lot of changes, a lot of focus around your career, money, but mainly in the family this week. It's all about family for Gemini, family life, and just things that are going on in your personal space. And then you'll be focusing, like I said, midweek things kind of shift, and a lot of you will be more focused on your jobs and other things that are going on. But that is the horoscope for the sun sign of Gemini. Cancer, Moonchild, this week for you in your horoscopes. A lot of interesting things that are going on that we got to talk about. So the first thing that I want to talk about is this week about money. That is your focal point this week for a lot of Cancerians out there, for a lot of you Moonchilds. What it's all about, let me give you the tea. So what it is that is happening this week is that a lot of you are finding that there may be children. You know, it's Christmas time. There's family members that they're like, gimme, 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 gimme. Give me those new pair of Jordans. Give me those new Nikes. You know, get me that Cartier watch. I want that Cartier, you know, watch. I want, you know, the new Balenciaga boots. I want the Gucci and the Prada, you know. I'm using this as an example to be kind of hilarious, but at the same time, that's the energy that is surrounding. There's a lot of people that are in your family, especially that, don't realize the hard work that you're putting through, and they don't realize that money doesn't grow on trees. And I'm just keeping it real. That's the energy. And it's like people, they want you to spend money on them for Christmas, or a gifts. And that's the whole thing with the holiday. I don't get it. It's become so superficial in many ways that people are just, thinking that, Christmas is all about material gifts, and it's not even the message behind that. That's not, we should be thankful and grateful for our family and our loved ones each and every day, not just on one day. It's become so commercialized, the whole, the whole holiday season, and even New Year's, a new year, yes, we enter a new year, but you should celebrate every day, not just, on a one day, It's just, to me, I just don't get it. But that's kind of like the energy, getting back on track with your horoscopes, that surrounds you this week. So a lot of you are having some powerful discussions. A lot of you are making some decisions. You don't want to disappoint anyone in your family, but Spirit is saying right now that you should not sacrifice your finances, or do for someone, consider, what you have in your bank account. Consider what you are making right now. Unless you won the lottery, or inherited $1 million, or you were born into a millionaire family, or a wealthy family. Don't, keep it simple this year. Keep it simple, and do things, if you must give gifts, do things that, that are more about family and more down to earth, and less about, you having to sacrifice a lot of that energy. There is also this week a lot of you that could be feeling like you are you're in communication with someone, and that they want to take a relationship to the next level. But you may have two people that, if you, let's say you're dating right now, and you haven't really, you're not in a committed relationship, you're just dating, and you're trying to find out, which person, a lot of you could have 2 or 3 people lined up. As weird as that sounds, but that's what comes across for a lot of Cancerians out there, that you could have some potential suitors, and each one has something different to bring to the table, but you're not sure. There's this feeling like, well, this person makes me happy in this way, but I don't feel fulfilled, or this person, helps me in this area, but I just don't feel a connection in this particular area. So there's a lot of complications. Your relationship, your love life is complicated right now. And that's kind of like the energy. And the way to get through this is to ask yourself, what can you compromise? What are you willing to really change, in yourself? Do you have to change yourself to be with this person, or can you be yourself openly and freely without having to change that? A lot of you could be having some unexpected bills that pop up this week, like car maintenance, having to go and replace some appliance in your house. There is some unexpected energy here. A lot of you also are done. A lot of you are putting some finalities to situations that have been going on, whether this is a friendship that was very draining, or, like I said, a relationship that was already at the very verge of, ending, and you're still now dating, but you haven't really put a finality to a situation. A lot of you will. A lot of you are going to be guided. A lot of you are going to feel very loved this week. The energy is kind of exciting. It really is. It's there's a lot of romance in the air. When it comes to your your worries and anticipations, usually when I tune in for Cancer, it's a very emotional sign. I get like a lot of worries, but this week I don't get so much worries to a big extent. I feel like it's more pleasant. It's more mellow and subtle, the energy, and you're taking action. You're moving forward in many ways. You're moving forward away, prepared for anything that is to come. And there is someone, though, in the midst that is watching you. There is a person, this is a male energy, that is watching you. He's very much, he likes like an authoritative figure. He likes to have control, whether this is a spouse or somebody. They are watching you, and their intentions are a little conflicted. They may be like trying to mold you in a certain way, or to take control in a certain way. So this is someone to watch. this week in particular, and kind of really, assess, what their intentions are, and pay attention to how they communicate in the words that they use, because you may have to read between the lines. But just be aware, have that level of awareness this week. And this is the horoscope for the sign of Cancer. Leo, this week for you, Leo, there is a lot of focus right now on your relationships, your love life. There is some, a word comes to your family. You're very nurturing, you're very giving, very loyal to a fault. There could be some situations that right now that are leading you to kind of, try to, be the pacifist, and you're worried about someone even if they hurt you. That's the big heart that you have and the loyalty that you have. Even if somebody has hurt you, in the past, you still have feelings for this person, and you're still trying to make things right. But there's new energy coming in a love life. A lot of you could have potentials out there, but something is holding you back from really being with that person, because under the energy of this week, a lot of you could still be, clinging to a twin flame or clinging to a soulmate. And we can have many twin flames and soulmates, believe it or not. But a lot of people, maybe in this particular situation, and kind of it's creating confusion with you and some fear, whether or not you would lose somebody that you've already lost in many ways and that may have moved on, but you still have feelings for this person and it's unrequited. So Spirit is really telling you to reassess your feelings and know that if the person has rejected you, or they have made assumptions about you, and there's been some bad blood between you, you need to move on. That's the feeling that you have this week, that you need to move on, because the longer that you stay trapped in the past, you cannot be happy in the future. You are delaying your happiness in many ways. And so it's time to kind of change this cycle. It's been a repetitive cycle for many, many years or months already, and it's time that you're tired. And a lot of you out there would be having breakdowns. You would be, crying in the solace of your own space when you're alone, solitary. Spirit is telling you that it's time to stop giving to someone that doesn't want to receive it and reciprocate that back to you. And there is true love, now that is available to you if you were to take it. So a lot of you that are still saying, well, why haven't I found the one? Well, it's because look at what you're doing. You're self-sabotaging yourself in many ways. You're self-sabotaging your relationships. You're self-sabotaging your future, because you're still glued to the past and stuck to the past. And it's time to break out of that, to bust out of that box that you've put yourself in and categorize yourself as needing to wait. The question, a lot of people that are, waiting, and I hear this quite often, when I do private readings, that they are waiting for, to see the outcome. They have hope that this person is going to change, but how long do you wait? Do you wait a lifetime? Do you wait 10 or 20 years until that person's free will, pushes them to see the light? Life goes on. You have to stop waiting. And that's the message for Leo this week, is to stop waiting. A lot of you are waiting for, the what ifs or the what nots. And it's not just waiting for your love life. This could be waiting for a career path. You're waiting because you don't have enough money to start up your own business, or you're waiting because you have fear that if you do quit your day job, you're not going to be successful. But how will you ever know if you don't take the risk, if you don't ever step out of that? We create a lot of our self-manifested fears and roadblocks without even realizing it. And that's what Spirit is saying. If you're unhappy in your job, you need to look for another job. You talking about it and just talking about it that you're going to do it, and this is what you're wanting to do, is not going to fix the situation. You have to take some kind of steps forward so that the universe can meet you halfway and you can get forward and get unglued from all of this. So there is, like I said, a female in your life that may want to help you. For those of you that are males that are listening, there would be a female, and vice versa. If you're a female, there would be a male in your life. And I feel like there's good communication and flow with this person. and they want to help you, whether this is a friend or not. They're giving you some sound advice. They're giving you some useful information this week. And a lot of you at the end of the week are still, kind of in limbo. You're still kind of thinking, and it's okay. It's all in baby steps. Don't feel pressured because of this horoscope to make a sudden change, but this is the energy that Spirit, and the message that Spirit is bringing across this week for the sign of Leo, is to really try to start moving forward in many ways. So thank you once again. Virgo, this week for you, Virgo, a lot of you out there are dealing with your financial area of your life, and just any kind of thing that is dealing with money. A lot of you are all about your job right now. There's a lot of focus on that, a lot of demands, a lot of pressure around your jobs and choices that you're having to make. It could be that you are trying to save up some money, but there's some different directions that a lot of you are going to be going into. A lot of you could be going into interviews this week for a new position. A lot of you could be going into your work and finding that there is, some cutbacks that they're making in certain departments, or there's certain people in certain departments that have been laid off, and you still have your position, but it's creating some anxiety. So there's a lot of different things that are happening around your work life. But when it comes to your personal life, your home life, your love life, in these areas, you do feel like there is a certain amount of sorrow or like sadness this week. You could be dealing with a male in your life right now, a male energy that is going through their own problems in their work life, in their family life, and they're just not feeling very communicative. They're feeling distant. There's a lot of pain in their heart chakra space. There's a feeling of being bored and needing change. So it feels like by Thursday, you will be kind of seeing some changes in this person. There's a lot of light coming in. There's a lot of new possibilities and new areas of focus this week for a lot of you Virgos out there. A lot of you could be working on or having some new projects or new things that are coming up in 2019, and it excites you. But you still may have some kind of mental confusion in many ways where you're just not sure, you're going back and forth with a situation. You're considering the pros, the cons, the outcomes ultimately for yourself. But Spirit is saying don't overthink it. Use your intuition, use the divine masculine or divine feminine energy within yourself, and allow that to kind of guide you and move you into the direction that you are needing. But you are moving into a more positive space. You are moving into the areas that you do need to be in right now. So if you've been asking yourself, and asking the universe, am I making the right decisions? Am I doing the right things? The message here from Spirit overall is that yes, you are, but you need to quit doubting yourself, because the longer that you doubt yourself, the harder it is to really kind of move forward in any area of your life and really, realize that it's not you, and maybe just fears that you're holding on to right now. But yeah, there's a lot of positive space and a lot of positive energy this week for you Virgos out there. But like I said, Spirit is wanting you to start, making these decisions, stop procrastinating, and stop second doubting yourself. A lot of you are doubting, and that just is hindering the progress in your life right now. So this is a horoscope for the sign of Virgo. All right, for Libra this week, there is a lot of people coming towards you, Libra. There's a lot of energy that is flowing and that is very intense. There's a lot of communication, whether this is emails, text messages, people walking up to you in your workspace, or just coming to you at any different time, given time in the week. There's a lot of communication going on, and a lot of you out there have a lot of mother wisdom. You have a lot of pearls of wisdom. A lot of you have divine wisdom because you have had life experiences. You have been through the ringer. You've been around the block a couple of times. You've had some seasoned experiences in life that have really brought you to an area of being wise. So a lot of people that know you or have gotten to know you over the course of this last year, or have known you for quite longer than that, will be coming towards you for advice, for guidance. You yourself may be feeling like you're needing guidance in certain areas of your life. You may be having different decisions, whether this is your relationship, whether this is you leaving a relationship, leaving your job, or embarking on some personal project. Whether this is like a side work, a new, let's say you work a 9 to 5 job, but you have, some creative self-employment position, or you want to get into that. There's a lot of choices that you're having to make, but Spirit is saying that don't necessarily go with your first option. Explore other options, even if you don't feel like you have the total information. Don't feel compelled to jump into things blindly, but rather think about it and give yourself some time to go back later and think about your ultimate decision, because a lot of you are impulsive this week, and you could just be making a decision that is not the best decision for yourself. So that's what Spirit is saying, to kind of really just contemplate where you're at right now, and where you want to be, and just not jump into a decision that is not good for yourself. You could be doing something that later on that you just find that you made a decision really hastily, and that now you kind of regret it. That's kind of like the energy that a Spirit is referencing. A lot of you also need to be patient. You're not patient. You could be waiting to hear back from, an apartment that maybe you're moving to, or you could be trying to work on getting your house, getting a mortgage. A lot of you are first-time home buyers that are trying to, get a mortgage or get approved through the bank. Or sell your property. There's a lot of talk about that right now from Spirit, that you need to be patient. Whatever it is that you're waiting for, you need to be patient. You need to find some greater balance in your life, because a lot of you right now are feeling very pulled in different directions. You're feeling very stressed out. You're feeling very emotional. Your heart chakra space is not good. A lot of you are holding on to some past pains, or holding on to a lot of this nervous energy, and just overall, there's just a lot of thoughts here that, what am I doing? How am I going to get out of this? There's a lot of you could be feeling pressure on your chest, and if you've ruled out medical, it could be more of anxiety because you have some blockage in that area. So a lot of you would benefit from like wearing a malachite pendant, or a green averantine, or even emerald, jade, green jade. There's just different things that you would benefit from. But there is something coming very soon in your life that is going to be sparking some positive energy, a lot of excitement. This could be like a new job or a new workspace that you're going into. Like I said, there's a lot of things, and you have kind of laid down the foundation for all of this in your life. You have been working extremely hard, but it's just a matter of having patience, and again, waiting for the outcome. And it seems like within the next 2 weeks that you will start seeing some more of this information that Spirit is relaying to you today, kind of making more sense to you in many ways. So this is what I see for the sign of Libra. Scorpio, this week for you, Scorpio, a lot of you Scorpions out there, Scorpios, are going to be feeling like you're trapped in a situation, that you can't break free from a certain situation. There is some inner conflict. There is something in your environment that is stealing your peace, and you feel very emotional. A lot of you could be in the confines of your your bedroom, and having some moments where you kind of break down, and you don't let other people see this part of yourself, because you don't want to be perceived as weak or vulnerable. But ultimately, when you're by yourself, a lot of you go through these anxieties and these breakdowns, and it's okay, because Spirit is saying that it's temporary. A lot of you may be feeling right now that you're having to make a sacrifice in many ways with giving up on on a certain pursuit or a certain someone, because that you know, ultimately, if you were to go ahead with it, then ultimately you would be the one that's hurt, or that person would be hurt in many ways. And ultimately, you're trying to find happiness. So you're having to put some things, you know, on hold. This could be like you going to school, you know, going back to college. But you know that right now financially you don't approve, you know, you're not qualified for grants or financial aid. So, you know, you could get by on a scholarship, but it may not be sufficient. So these are kind of like the decisions that you're having to make and the sacrifices that you're having to make for the greater good. But there is a bigger blessing coming to you. There could also be a lot of people right now this week that are getting into your invading your space, your personal space, and your business, and a lot of nosy people wanting to know your business. And you're going to have to stand your ground. You're going to have to, you know, be very tough, and really just tell them, you know, like it is, to kind of mind their own business. There's a lot of nosiness right now, and this is what Spirit is talking about. People being nosy, trying to get into your business, trying to be shady, grady, and start, you know, some drama in your life. But you have no time for that. There's all focus right now on your material items, your, you know, your finances with your home life, you know, and things that are greater responsibility. And a lot of you, for the first time, you know, in many weeks, are feeling more powerful. You're feeling like you are stepping into your power. You are taking your power back. So where you may have been experiencing some delays, or experiencing that some people were stealing your power, in many ways your peace, because, you know, they were being, like I said, shady Grady's or nosy Nancy's, you know, or just, you know, doing things that are out of the blue. They know how to push your buttons. You are no longer being triggered by that. You are being very much in your power, in your zone, and you're transforming before people's eyes. And people may not recognize you. They may feel like, you know, you're growing distant from them, or they may not understand why you've stopped communicating with them. It's because you're no longer willing to sacrifice, you know. Like I said in the beginning of the week, it feels like you've sacrificed enough for people, you know, and you're done with it. You're done with having to put yourself last instead of putting yourself first. And Spirit commends you for that. You know, you have this level of awareness, and it's beautiful and it's empowering. And so just know that you're making the right decisions, and don't let anyone, you know, disrespect you in any kind of way. Stand your ground, speak your mind, and this week will be a good week for you. Sagittarius, this week for you, Sagittarius, is a very complicated beginning to your week. And there's a lot of you that are going through some shadow work and working with your shadow side or shadow self. When we talk about shadow self, and for a lot of you that are new to my channel and maybe haven't heard this term before, you've never heard of it at all, I'm going to explain it to you. Shadow self and shadow work basically is our dark side. We all have a light side. We all have a duality of light and darkness, the yin, the yang, you know, um, the good versus evil, you know, or the good versus bad, really, in ourselves. And we all have that. Our shadow self is, you know, the emotions of sadness, anger, resentment, hate, um, pain, sorrow, loss. You know, our light side is happiness, joy, contentment, gratefulness, thankfulness, um, being a light worker, feeling, you know, whole and complete, and loving and compassion, and, you know, caring and kindness. These are, you know, the kind of different aspects in duality. It feels like you're going through that, and then someone else that you know is also going through it. This could be a twin flame. This could be someone you care about, but there's energy exchange here that Spirit is talking about, that you both are going through this situation. And so you will be coming out of it. The beginning of the week, you know, after coming out of the weekend, you could be dealing with a lot of things that happen over the weekend, going into the start of your week, and you still have this very much at the forefront of your mind. But a lot of you are pushing past that by the time that you get to Wednesday. There's new ideas. A lot of you this week could be receiving news that maybe you're pregnant. For those of you that are able to conceive or get pregnant, you could be sharing some news. A lot of you may be giving birth this week. You know, there's a lot of, this is not necessarily going to apply to every Sagittarius sign out there, you know, every person that's Sagittarius, but a lot of you could be having this kind of, you know, where you find out you're pregnant, or you know, you're giving birth this week to new ideas, or maybe even, you know, giving birth in the actual sense. There's this also the sense this week that you are moving forward in a very rapid rate in a relationship, in your career. You're accelerating, but at the same time, it feels like, that there is a price. Even though you're accelerating, you're feeling like, maybe your work is overcompensating or taking over, your love life, and you don't have a love life because you're so busy working 60-hour shifts, 60-hour shifts a week, or you're working 12-hour shifts, that's practically half of the day. By the time that you get home, you're exhausted, and you don't get to go out or do anything in that area. So there's some balance that is needed. And if you're not happy, Spirit is saying that this is a time to reassess, to reevaluate. You are thinking about the past. A lot of you that have been in relationships before, this is not your first time, a lot of you are thinking about, old people in your past, old exes, or people that have been in your life, served a lesson. And some of them, you still may have good communication with, and some feelings for, but it's the matter of just moving forward or going back to the past. A lot of you sometimes have to revisit the past in order to fully go back and really learn why you had to, move away from it. There is a lot of celebrations that you could be going through this week. This could be like, Christmas parties starting early, or having these little mini parties, get-togethers with your soul family, because, later, towards Christmas, that maybe you're going to be going out of town for, 2 weeks or so, or that you're going somewhere else. So there is a sense of, needing to come together and celebrate with people and have these little get-togethers, maybe, early Christmas parties this week. But there's a lot of light going into the end of the week, a lot of positivity, a lot of like your attitude, your energy just shifts completely into a more happier state of mind and a state of being. And I feel like this is all with the shadow work. When you do the shadow work on yourself, and you just kind of, when you do shadow work, is basically you realizing the certain aspects of yourself that need healing, and you're like self-healing yourself. No one can truly heal us but ourselves. We have to allow that healing, accepting things that, the way they are, and really, kind of pushing ourselves out of that, those emotional states by doing things that make us happy. So whatever it is for you, whatever the formula that you're using is, and it's working this week, and that's what Spirit is saying. It's working for you. So that's the horoscope for the sign of Sagittarius this week. Capricorn, this week for you, Capricorn, a lot of you are starting off the week feeling almost like there is some obstacles in your path right now, some challenges. This could be around your family or your work life, and you feel like you don't know if what's the next step to take. At the same time, you may be feeling a lot of pressure from someone in your life that is very demanding. They take up a lot of your time and energy. It's almost like when you're around them, you're not able to be yourself. You are feeling kind of restless, kind of tired, kind of weighed down spiritually. But your third eye could be going off, and a lot of you could be tapping into your intuitive side to really kind of guide you and help you in many ways to make the best decisions for yourself. So there's a lot of pulling together right now with your family, spending time with your family. A lot of you will be inclined to spend time with your family completely. And this is good. This is all good energy for yourself. A lot of you are also that are single are going to be starting a relationship, or taking a relationship that hasn't been too long, but taking it to the next level, and it's exciting and it's fulfilling for you. This week is a very fulfilling week. Where it starts off kind of bumpy. Like I said, the energy definitely does shift as well, and I think this is like a trend that I'm seeing this week for a lot of the signs in the zodiac. So it's not just Capricorns that are experiencing this. It's mainly every sign. The beginning of the week is kind of, whatever happened over the weekend, it's kind of like blah, the energy. But as you get into the new work week, it's like very exciting. Things are very different. Spirit is also asking you to stay very confident and strong in your, have that strength when it comes to your spiritual self, because a lot of you could be feeling depressed with the holidays. The holidays are not always about joy and happiness. A lot of people reflect back on the holidays, and their only memories are of pain and, sadness, because they either lost someone, during the holidays, or they lost someone during the year, and this is a good time of the year where they used to, celebrate with this person, and that person is no longer in their life. So if you're going through that, know that your loved ones that have crossed over are with you in spirit, and that they're always around you and always watching you and guiding you. And so a lot of you could be dealing with that. A lot of you could also be kind of going through your own breakdown or your own pain right now, and you're trying to, maybe you feel like you don't fit in this world, or excuse me, you're wanting to know, what is your life purpose, because you feel so confused, about why have you gone through so much pain, so much sorrow. A lot of you have consulted maybe a lot of psychics out there or mediums, and you've been told, several things over and over, and none of it has come to pass, and you're just at the end of your ropes wanting to know, what is coming next. When is your time to shine? Because a lot of even myself, and I'm not a Capricorn, I'm a Gemini, but you see a lot of people out there that maybe you feel like, to a certain point, they're not, they take life for granted, or they take things for granted, but yet they're happier than you are, or they have different things. And it's not bad to want those things, but it's kind of like you kind of think about, why are they so lucky and you're not? Why is your path full of, pain and sorrow and just delays and everything? And you work hard to be a good person and to better yourself, but it doesn't happen. But Spirit is saying this is part of the grand design. It's all about divine timing, and we can, we can talk bad about psychics and talk bad about people that are spiritual advisors and healers, all we want, but ultimately it's not their fault. They can give you certain insight, but when it comes down to it, it's all about our destiny, and we can change our destiny in many ways due to our free will, due to our choices, due to our lack of, seeing the bigger picture. So a lot of you that would be tuning into these horoscopes this week, just know that if you're not where you need to be, that you're not alone, that you don't have to go through it alone either. Spirit wants you to reach out to your confidant, talk to someone in your family that understands you, and really kind of let go of all these fears and a lot of this pressure that you have surrounding yourself this week. Start planning. If you want to see change, start planning on things that you can do that are within reasonable confines of your space, and change those aspects and qualities, so that way you can get to the level and the space that you need that will bring you that ultimate happiness. So that's the horoscope for the sign of Capricorn. Aquarius. So for a lot of you Aquarians out there, this week is all about you at the beginning of the week maybe have some things around your finances, or if you own your own business, or you have a partnership, or you have, whatever it is that you're in, it's all about your work right now. There's a lot of focus around your work, a lot of decisions, but also a lot of reaping of rewards. This could be a week where you receive news that, you are going to receive some money coming in from your hard work, from the seeds that you've planted. There's a lot of excitement about money. Money is a motivator out there for a lot of you Aquarians. It's something that is, it's a universal language for you. It speaks on many levels to you. But at the same time, Spirit this week is saying that there is something deceptive going on. There is a person that is very deceptive around you, to be mindful of this person. And this does feel like a male energy, and very much, that is coming across. So let's say that this is, you communicating with someone new that is very interesting in your life. If you're single Aquarian out there and you're communicating with someone, someone new, to be very careful with this person, because they may have some deceptive qualities. If it's not in your love life, it could be in your work life that you're needing to have that certain level of kind of analyzing everything, because there's someone that in the midst that could be jealous of you, that could be deceptive in many ways. When it comes to other areas of your life, like family life, there is a lot of balance there and a lot of harmony for a lot of you, but a lot of you could be feeling, kind of pushed away from a lot of that, that's something maybe that you're wanting to create, because you're always thinking of, what can you do to create that harmony and that balance. But it seems like when it comes to your friendships and overall, in your family, you do have that level of of balance and harmony that you create. A lot of you also this week are going to be finding that you're having to make some changes. A lot of you could be thinking of moving from, one house or an apartment to another, or to acquire some real estate. A lot of you could be looking at real estate, or thinking about, how you're going to spend some money for Christmas, on Christmas gifts, or planning a vacation, a trip. There's a lot of focus right now of you spending some time and a lot of different options, but you ultimately are able to do that. A lot of you also could be creating some spiritual alliances out there with other spiritual gurus or spiritual people that are healers and psychics and mediums. And, they could be, coming to you now because you have those same qualities in yourself, but you may not be able to tap into them the way that you would like, or you just doubt yourself. But Spirit is saying it's time to no longer doubt yourself. And a lot of you are moving on from, a darker phase that you could have been experiencing over the last 3 or 4 weeks, which is mainly emotional on many levels, and also spiritually, on many levels. It was very stressful for a lot of you Aquarians. And again, you're moving on from that into a more happier space. So this week, the energy overall, it feels very flowing. It feels very happy. It feels like you are finally feeling a little fulfillment in certain areas of your life. You're getting like glimpses into what could be, or if you allow yourself to surrender, to the higher power, to surrender to everything that is destined to be yours. You've gotten a little glimpse, a little taste of it, and it's kind of, it's exciting for you, but it creates some anxiety in many ways to you as well, because you're thinking, am I worthy of it? And a lot of you are very humble Aquarians out there, and Spirit is saying that yes, you are worthy of it, and you deserve it, and you just need to see that yourself. So a lot of you could be, later in the week kind of feeling withdrawn emotionally from people or from a person, and you don't know why, but for some reason you feel this disconnect in many ways. But it doesn't last long, because whatever it's going on in your life, you are going to be successful. You're going to have that, what you're seeking, you're going to have it. You know how to get what you want, and that's what Spirit is saying, is that a lot of you Aquarians know how to get what you want, and it's not wrong to be like that, to honor yourself and really go after what makes you happy. So that's the horoscope for this week for the sign of Aquarius. And finally, we are at the sign of Pisces. So Pisces, this week, a lot of you are beginning a new phase in your life, a new direction. This could be deciding to leave your current work life and pursue a different type of career, one that is more fulfilling, maybe one that is remote from home. There's a lot of changes that are going on. A lot of them are scary, but a lot of them are part of your destiny and what the universe is bringing to you. There could be some feelings, right now when it comes to friendships, that you are feeling kind of defeated in many ways. You maybe are giving, but it's not reciprocated, or there's certain things that someone does in your life that reminds you that you're not at that space, even though they may show you affection and love, that ultimately, it's not bringing you the satisfaction that you desire. It's like you're putting so much effort into yourself, but you rarely get it back. And any ounce that you get, it's almost like the best thing that has happened to you in many ways, but you don't feel emotionally fulfilled. There's a lot of truth that is coming out this week. This could be some discussions with someone in your life and them expressing how they feel, or setting some boundaries. And a lot of it may be good, maybe for a lot of you, it could be good circumstances. A lot of you may handle it as kind of almost like a rejection, or feeling kind of like, you don't know where you stand in that person's life in particular, other than being a friend for them. A lot of you also could be right now tempted to do something that perhaps was an old habit. So a lot of you that have darker secrets or habits out there that maybe you used to do, there could be a situation where you're surrounded by someone that does that now, and you don't know why, but you have that temptation to go into that kind of darker period or darker phase in your life. So this is going to be a week of needing to, you know, really kind of rest and recoup yourself and kind of make the best decisions for your life right now. Because like I said, a lot of you out there could be doubting yourself. A lot of you could be feeling very drained and tired and fatigued, and you're not understanding why there's a lot of these shifts that are going on with your energy patterns and your energy cycles. And it's all having to do because it's almost like you are pulling yourself and doing so much for many different people in your life and trying to keep that balance. But right now it almost feels like that is not the case, you know. But be patient, you know, pace yourself and kind of, you know, give yourself space and time, and use this week to kind of really think about everything that is going on. So that's the energy for a lot of Pisces out there for this week. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you would like to set up a private reading, go to my website. That's www.raymondguzman.net/shop. Also be sure to check out my new book on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. It's called Starseed Footsteps. It is a book that talks about spiritual topics, everything from what happens to when we die, to crystals, to angels, to hauntings, and, you know, the list goes on and on. If you would like an autographed copy of the book, you can purchase it directly from my website. Blessings and love and light. Have an amazing week.